Hi again then guys, and so we've got another drag spec tune for you today, and this time it's for a relatively underused drag car, but one with surprisingly good potential, the Alfa Romeo Brera. So you want your racing soft tyres, of course. For suspension we've increased the ride height to 150 front and rear. Springs we've got 6 on the front, 350 on the rear. For compression 4 on the front, 1 on the back. For extension 4 on both. Anti-roll as high as possible to keep the car straight and true as always. Camber and toe neutral to get as much tyre contact to the road as possible. For the gearbox we've gone for the highest possible auto setting. Then for the individual gears we've got 2.6 on first, then second, third, fourth and fifth all the way to the left, with sixth on 0.570 and a final drive of 4.2. For the diff we've got the highest initial torque, of course, high acceleration and low braking, a torque split of 30-70, all the power upgrades of course, and as usual with these drag tunes I will be using NOS, and of course you want the full weight loss package. Traction control is of course turned off. I would recommend turning traction control off for any vehicle because they are much quicker without it. And as with all of my drag tunes I will be using, or as with most of my drag tunes, I will be using an automatic box. So if you do choose to use a manual, you will of course be quicker. Now we're putting this car up against, as always, a higher spec rival. In this case we're putting it up against a fully tuned Aston Martin Db9. It's got around 80 horsepower more, higher top speed. Both cars are using NOS, so the Alfa Romeo doesn't have an advantage there. Both are using racing soft tyres. And although the Alfa Romeo does have all-wheel drive, that's still a powerful Aston Martin, a premium model that it's going up against. So let's see how they compare. So obviously off the line the all-wheel drive does give it a better launch, but still it stays ahead of the Aston Martin for a surprisingly long time, around 600 metres, or just over 600 metres, it's ahead of the Aston, despite that car having significantly more power and also a significantly higher PP. So it's a pretty impressive little car, this Alfa Romeo, and a severely underappreciated drag car. Now as far as top end, it is actually very good top end, as a cruising speed of around 244, which is far quicker than you'd think this car would be. But not surprisingly, I wouldn't really recommend using it for long drag races. Although, as you can see, it's still not that far behind the Aston Martin. Even by the 5,000 metre mark, it's only, as you can see, just under a second behind. That's pretty impressive considering the difference in spec between the two vehicles. And also, this car, as we said, is a significantly lower PP than the Aston Martin. And for its PP, which is under 550, this car is actually one of the quickest cars you can get off the line at that PP level. So if you haven't bought a Brera before and you're kind of thinking, what do I really want to use it for? I'd recommend using it as a drag car at the very least, because it's very good off the line. It runs the quarter mile in 9 seconds, which compared to some of my other cars in the series doesn't sound that great. But again, for its PP and for its power, that's very good. It does 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds thanks to the all-wheel drive, hits 100 in 4.2, 200 miles per hour in 16 seconds. As I said, quarter mile in 9. It does a standing mile, or 1600 metres, in 22.7 seconds. And it will cover 3 miles, or 4,800 metres, in well under a minute. So it's a very good performance car for its PP, for its power, and also just for the vehicle in general. It's a lot quicker and a lot more competitive than people give it credit for. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Alfa Romeo Brera. I think it's a severely underappreciated car that's actually very good. So if you haven't tried this car out before, especially for drag racing, I would of course recommend that you give it a go. If you do choose to use this tune setup, obviously I hope you find it fun and of course competitive. And not many people use this car. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this as a drag car. So you're guaranteed pretty much to surprise people with how good this car is. So, if you found this helpful, feel free to subscribe. I put out new drag tunes every weekend and also new top speed tunes every day. And as always, thanks for watching.